Okay, today we're going to see if we can help you clear some outstanding debts, maybe some long-term debts, credit cards, loans, maybe that you haven't paid in a long time. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and use a few of the things that you will have heard of, the likes of PPI, the Payment Protection Insurance, and also the fees and charges. Now, the thing about these is that many people have applied for these and successfully got some money refunded. But if, for example, you owed, let's say, £4,000 on a credit card or a loan or whatever it may be, if you applied for PPI and you got it successfully, let's say for talk's sake you got £1,800 on the PPI, then that's great. It comes off your debt, but you still have a huge debt that's going to be hampering your credit score. So what you can try and do is, first of all, get in touch with the company and ask them for a settlement figure. Now, if you're not very good with people on the phone, especially with pushy salespeople, maybe just write them a letter. Ask them for, as I said, a settlement figure that will show on your credit report as the debt being satisfactorily settled. Now, I know some people that have received letters and they have been given letters without making any effort, the letters that they've ignored for years, and they've got letters offering them settlement figures of 50% of the debt. Now, that's without any effort. So let's assume that you were able to get a settlement figure on the £4,000 of £1,600. Now, as I said, this figure is just really an estimation. It's going to depend on the individual company and how much much effort you're willing to put in to try and get a reduction. But if you can get a 50% reduction with no effort, then it's quite possible that as the years go on and as it gets closer to that debt going off your credit report, i.e. as it approaches the 6-year barrier, the companies that those debts will have been sold to will be more and more desperate to get that money back. So you may even be able to get a lower settlement figure than that. Now, once you've got a satisfactory, or a figure that they'll call a satisfactory settlement figure, what you'll then do is you'll then apply for any excessive fees and charges and any PPI. Now, both of these, the forms for each of these things can be found, the templates for them, on the Martin Lewis's website, which is the MoneySavingExpert.com website. It should be noted that as yet we're not authorised or endorsed by them, but that's where you can go on to find the step-by-step process for PPI and bank charges. You can also send off a letter that requests the credit agreement, and that'll give you an indication as to whether or not you had PPI in the first place. But the point is that if you have on that figure of 4,000, again, it'll depend entirely how long you've had the account, how long you're being charged. But if, for example, on that particular debt, you had excessive fees and charges that amounted to, say including interest and what they need to pay you back, let's say £400. Again, this is just sort of an estimation, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility with that figure. It's quite reasonable for that figure. Now, if that was your figure for fees and charges, you could also have had a figure come back to you then for how much you're entitled to if you had PPI. Now, again, I'm not even going to try and guess the PPI on this figure, but I'm sure people that have had anything upwards of £1,200, £1,800, £3,000, even £4,000 in some cases, and maybe more in the PPI. So what you're really looking for here is your ideal scenario is that you can eradicate this long-standing debt that's hurting your credit, that you can eradicate that for free. That's what you really want. But if you did get really lucky and you got a settlement figure of 1,600, you got your excess fees and charges were 400, and then you had your PPI after that. After this, then if your PPI is anything above £1,200, you'll actually have cleared your debt and also be entitled to money. So it is worth checking out. And as I said, the first thing you want to do, because I know that some people have got a refund on their PPI, or they've been awarded a refund on their PPI, but all it's actually done is contributed to wiping out half of their debt, which still leaves them with debt and still leaves them with a terrible credit score. So if you can get your debt reduced by getting a satisfactory settlement figure first, and then going down the route of trying to get the the list of the fees.